There's a thing about both white vigilantism and white tears, particularly male white tears. Really white tears in general, because that's what Karens are, right? They Karen out, and then as soon as they get caught, it's like, green waterworks. White men can get away with that too, and it has the same effect.
My show had value, and that, that what I was doing had value. And in the end, I try not to cry on TV.
What's up, Taters? This is Tree from treeoflogic.com. And you know I had to make a video about Joy Reid. You know I can't stand this heifer. And I'm sorry, but I'm drinking those liberal tears. So salty. I love them. Anyway, there's a lot being said on Twitter and TikTok, and you know I'm going to showcase that here for you today in this video. So let's get started by briefly reading this AP article. Joy Reid is leaving MSNBC as the network cancels her evening show, which was doing wah-wah terrible. Okay, Joy Reid is leaving MSNBC, the network's new president announced in a memo to staff on Monday, marking an end to the primetime show hosted by progressive political analyst and race baiter. Okay, I included a race baiter in there, but she is one, okay? And broadcast news anchor. Reid's namesake show, the ReidOut, which is corny as hell, has been a fixture of MSNBC's evening programming since 2020. I can't believe this show has been on there this long. Since 2020, really? Jeez. In the hour-long newscast held on weeknights at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, Reid conducts interviews with politicians and other newsmakers, diving into an extensive array of political issues and intersections between race, culture, and social justice. Now, I'm going to show you this particular video, which actually shows how disgusting Joy Reid is. She is a huge POS, and you're about to see it live in color right now.
Do y'all remember when Joy Reid said this?
Yeah. The question I'm asking is, what is the expertise that you have and other Moms for Liberty advocates have to decide that a book, an award-winning book like All Boys Aren't Blue, isn't appropriate for students to read? What is your expertise?
What a tragic story of a young man who's anal by his adult family member. So you have pedophilia. In what context is a strap-on acceptable for public school? That's my question to you. Tell me what the context around the strap-on or the rape of a minor child by a teacher.
Hold on a second.
You're asking me to remember the name of an author.
You
the
just
name of the
remembered
author
very
doesn't
specific things.
Joy.
Here's my
We're
question.
talking about
Here's my
strap.
question.
You didn't answer my question.
No. What I'm saying to you is that as you are not an expert in this book,
I don't have to be an expert to know that those aren't appropriate for public school. I mean, come on, let's get real.
This book is a full context story, as you said, of the author's experience. Why is it your right or a Moms for Liberty activist's right to say that a parent who wants their child to have access to this book, which gives a personal experience of this author, why doesn't a liberal parent, for instance, or a parent of an LGBTQ kid, why don't they have a right for their child to just have access to this book? Why is it your right to say they can't?
So, again, we're talking about
and each parent, each parent has to decide what is appropriate for their child to read. Right. What is your right to tell a parent who wants their child, who might feel seen by this story, why don't they have the right? Why don't they have the right as a parent to say, my child can have access to this book?
If a child feels seen by this story, that means that they have been the victim of a predator. That means that they have either been raped by a family member, they've experienced
and your proof of that is what?
You just said that
What's
if a child feels seen by this story.
That's why I'm happy that people will no longer be subject to those types of opinions.
Absolutely disgusting. And I don't even know if Joy Reid has children or not. Sounds like she doesn't, because who in their right mind with kids, unless you hate your kids or unless you're a groomer yourself, would want to expose children like that to material like these disgusting books that Joy Reid is actually pushing. But it gets even better. Rachel Maddow, who works for the same news network that Joy got fired from, kind of like hints that the news network fired her because she's black. However, Rachel is not trying to leave the very racist news network that fired her friend because she's black. Make that make sense.
An even bigger programming change is at 7 p.m., 7 p.m. Eastern, where Joy Reid's show, The ReidOut, ended tonight. And Joy is not taking a different job in the network. She is leaving the network altogether. And that is very, very, very hard to take. I am 51 years old. I have been gainfully employed since I was 12. And I have had so many different kinds of jobs, you wouldn't believe me if I told you. But in all of the jobs I have had, in all of the years I have been alive, there is no colleague for whom I have had more affection and more respect than Joy Reid. I love everything about her.
I'm sure you
I have
do.
learned so much from her. I have so much more to learn from her. I do not want to lose her as a colleague here at MSNBC. And personally, I think it is a bad mistake to let her walk out the door. It is not my call, and I understand that, but that's what I think. I will tell you, it is also unnerving to see that on a network where we've got two, count them, two non-white hosts in primetime, both of our non-white hosts in primetime are losing their shows, as is Katie Fang on the weekend. And that feels worse than bad, no matter who replaces them. That feels indefensible, and I do not defend it.
Imagine saying that, see, the reason why they're let go is because they're not white. Not because their ratings suck. I mean, not because they just suck, but because they're not white. But you can tell that Rachel Maddow is a hypocrite, because if she really believes that, which she doesn't, she would boycott that so-called racist news network by leaving it. But we know that's not going to happen. Here's a side-by-side where you have Joy Reid actually trying to come for Megyn, and this is where the whole white tears come from, and then end up we got black tears in the end. It's such good karma. I love it. Check this out.
No fair. My body, my choice. Well, here's an alternative thought. Make your own dinner, MAGA. Make your own sandwiches. Wipe your own tears. Troll amongst yourselves with Elon and leave us alone. You got your heart's desire, the president you dreamed of, and worship instead of Jesus. And this time, you didn't even have to storm the Capitol, smash the windows, or try to kill police officers or issue death threats to poll workers. See? You did it just by voting this time. Congrats. You got your way. And he even got away with breaking the law. Yay.
My show had value, and that, I'm sorry, that what I was doing had value. And in the end, I'm sorry, I try not to cry on TV. And I think this is kind of like being on TV, so I apologize. And then it mattered. I see Karen, is there, and she's been texting me as well. And so what I will just say is that in the end, thank you.
And of course, Megyn Kelly's going to respond, and her response is epic. Check it out.
The big news tonight will be Joy Reid's final show on MSNBC. Single tear, white woman tears happening right here, Joy. She was officially fired over the weekend because she's a racist, horrible news anchor with no ratings.
Fact.
And that's really been the truth for a long time. MSNBC is under new management, and I guess they decided to come to grips with reality. The truth is, this is very sad news for us, as she's provided so much material over the years. I feel the way I felt when Brian Stelter got fired, but he came back, and you never know. I'm sure Joy Reid will wind up doing something where we will continue to get to respond to her absolutely insane POV.
And point and laugh at her as always, in addition to mocking her.
There's been a lot of discussion about Joyless Joy Reid. Joyless Joy Reid, her show got canceled. And I don't scoff at anybody in show business, because she essentially is a performer. It wasn't a news show. It was a personal commentary show on a news network, MSNBC. I don't laugh at people losing their jobs, although she's still at the network, but the show itself, one of the reasons why the show got canceled is because people didn't watch. And I'm sure they ran it up the flagpole. Oh, should we cancel Joyless Joy Reid during Black History Month? They had to stop the financial bleeding. And you people that are complaining about Joyless Joy Reid's show getting canceled, did you watch? I see more people complaining about Joyless Joy Reid's show getting canceled than were actually watching Joyless Joy Reid's show. Okay? You should have been watching the show and she wouldn't have gotten the show canceled. Okay? So you can comment, complain, post, this, that, and the third on every single blog. You should have been watching the show since you care so much, but you didn't care. You didn't care, and you definitely didn't watch.
Joy Reid has a curious claim about American history, and her curious claim is that she built the country.
Be a black person in 2024 in America is to be in a state of complete perplexed confusion about what is wrong with a country that hates your history, to this day can't admit even the basics of what was done to your ancestors, and to find out that literally Barack Obama's 2 terms as president are your reparations, and yet you built this country. You literally physically built this country.
Joy Reid's parents are immigrants. Joy Reid's father came from Congo. Joy Reid's mother came from Guyana. Joy Reid is a first-generation American. Not one single person in her family tree had any connection to slavery. Not one single person in her family tree was here more than 1 generation ago.
And in the end, I'm sorry, I try not to cry on TV. And I think this is kind of like me on TV, so I apologize.
I'm sorry. Joy Reid, your show had no value. And it did not matter to anyone maybe other than you and those that wanted to double down on divisive hate. That show needed to go away a long time ago. Finally, MSNBC did the right thing, but there are a few more that still need to go.
So many of you have probably heard that Miss Joy Reid's show was canceled by MSNBC. Well, her friend Rachel Maddow came on and stated that the reason why she was fired was because of her skin color. Now, that's far from the truth. So let me give Miss Joy Reid some insight on why she was fired from MSNBC, coming from a nobody. Every single time I watch her show, this woman exudes hate. Not only hate, for some odd reason, Miss Joy Reid seems to think that she is still living in the segregation days. She is oppressed beyond her wildest dreams. Every single subject she has spoken on has been in a subjective manner and never on an objective one. So the fact that she is stating, or her friend Miss Rachel Maddow stating, that she was fired because of her skin color, I don't think so. She's in one of the most protected class in the nation. The reason why you got fired, Miss Joy Reid, was the fact that you brought no value to your viewers. You brought racism, and that's about it. And to be honest with you, the only value you brought was for yourself, and that was self-entitlement. That's it.
So Joy Reid just had her final episode ever on MSNBC, and I decided to watch it, number 1, because I'm a martyr, I do it for you guys, and number 2, because this woman has been stealing my hairstyle for years. Now, earlier today, Joyless Reid posted a video of herself bawling, crying, saying her show had value, what she did had value, and now I know she's even more delusional than I initially thought. What value has Joy Reid added to society? She's done nothing but spew bile on television and sow division for years. She's denigrated anybody who doesn't fit into her small elite bubble. Now, you guys know me by now. I'm normally sympathetic, empathetic. I never pray for anybody's downfall, but Joy Reid, don't cry for me, Argentina, because you have done nothing but spew BS on television for years, and karma got its kiss for you, sweetie. I guess Joy Reid hasn't listened to Frankie Valli in the 4 Seasons. Big girls don't cry. Joy Reid, you gotta pull it together, okay? This sobbing, bawling, crying nonsense, pull it together, sweetheart, because you're Now, in Joy Reid's last show, I was expecting to see some semblance of evolution, of growth, of understanding where our country is in this moment and what happened on November 5th with Donald Trump's historic landslide victory, but I heard nothing of the sort. She spent the entire last episode, number one, in this MSNBC ReidOut hoodie. Maybe that's her consolation prize. Maybe that's the one thing she can take as she... The last hour, they basically spent the entire time calling Donald Trump Hitler, a Nazi, a fascist, the same song and dance they've been doing for years, and it did not work then. What makes you think it's going to work now? There's a reason Democrats are turning off MSNBC. Your own party is turning you off because they can't listen to it anymore. They also spent about 5 minutes praising Liz Cheney and Adam Kinzinger and saying how amazing they are standing up for democracy. If you guys are going to spend your last show praising Liz Cheney, you've really learned nothing. And Rachel Maddow, I guess MSNBC is really broke as a joke. They couldn't even send a studio van or a camera crew for her. I don't know where she is. Maybe she's on some lesbian retreat with one Wi-Fi bar. This is not a good look.
So Joy Reid from MSNBC lost her show today. For those of you who don't know, this is Joy Reid. Joy Reid's show has been canceled as part of a major overhaul by the network's new president, Rebecca Cutler. Reid, one of the most prominent Trump bashers in the mainstream media, has been a long-serving anchor of the network. In December, Nielsen Media Research revealed that Reid had lost almost half her viewers since the election of Donald Trump, with MSNBC seeing a whopping 53% drop in primetime viewership following the November 5th result. Now, I personally think that most people watch Joy Reid just to see what kind of random stuff she could come up with in her head. It's like the same reason The View still exists. There's not that many people that actually like and support The View. It's that they just say so many wild things. It's like entertaining almost. Like you sit there and think, how the hell did you think of that? And knowing Joy Reid, I'm sure she'll say something about how this is racism, that she's losing her show, because to her, everything is racism. Even though she's a black millionaire in America, America is still a racist country. Can any of y'all say you're actually upset about this?
And there you have it there, Taters. I mean, come on now. How do you come out in public looking like this? I feel no sympathy for this chick. I don't feel sorry. I lap up those liberal tears, and I'm here for even more of it. Listen, Joy, all I gotta say is put the fries in the bag. Speaking of putting the fries in the bag, there is a Joy Reid lover, not hater, lover, who created a fan video of her. Check it out.